The observation deck of the celestial chorus hummed with nervous energy as Zalthera pressed her sensory appendages against the quantum glass viewport. Her crystalline eyes reflected the void of space, where 7 coalition fleets hung in perfect defensive formation, a testament to 10,000 years of military doctrine. Below them, the death world called Earth spun silently, a blue-green marble wrapped in swirling white clouds. "They're launching," whispered Krentau, Zalthera's junior analyst, his voice trembling through the translation matrix. Zalthera's chromatic skin flickered with colors of anxiety, deep purples and sickly greens that betrayed her composure. She had studied humans for 3 cycles now, ever since their crude, faster-than-light vessels had stumbled into coalition space. Everything about them defied reason. They came from a world that should have killed them 1,000,000 times over, a planet with crushing gravity, violent weather, predators at every turn, and diseases that evolved as fast as their immune systems could adapt. And now, the Kresh swarm had found them. The swarm had consumed 17 civilizations. Their biomechanical ships moved like locusts through space, overwhelming defenders with sheer numbers and relentless aggression. The coalition had fought the swarm to a standstill only by sacrificing entire star systems, creating kill zones that even the swarm wouldn't cross. But Earth lay on the wrong side of those zones. "Tactical assessment," Zalthera commanded, her chief sensory organs never leaving the viewport. "The human fleet consists of 47 vessels," replied the ship's intelligence core. "Primitive fusion drives, kinetic weapons, nuclear armaments. Against the swarm's 4,000 ships, projected survival time. For minutes, 17 seconds. For minutes." Zalthera's bioluminescent markings pulsed with sorrow. The coalition had sent aid, of course, but it would arrive in 6 hours. The mathematics were cruel and absolute. She watched as the human ships, rough, angular things covered in armor plating and weapon pods, accelerated toward the incoming swarm. No formation, no classical defensive posture. They simply charged. "Madness," breathed Krentau. "They're not even attempting to create a defensive perimeter around their homeworld." But Zalthera had learned something about humans during her study. She had watched their entertainment transmissions, studied their history files, analyzed their literature. Humans didn't fight like other species. They didn't calculate acceptable losses or seek negotiated surrenders. Humans fought like their planet had taught them, with the fury of a world that had tried to kill them since they'd climbed down from the trees. The lead human vessel's communication channel crackled to life, and Commander Rhett's face appeared on the display. He was scarred, his hair premature gray, his eyes carrying the weight of someone who had seen too many impossible situations. Behind him, his bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency, faces set in grim determination. "Coalition Vessel Celestial Chorus, this is Commander Red of the HFY Indomitable. We're designating you as observer. Fall back to safe distance. This is going to get messy." Zalthera activated her own communication channel. "Commander Red, our tactical projections show, with respect, Observer Zalthera, we've seen your projections." Rhett's expression didn't change, but something in his voice made Zalthera's skin flash warning colors. "We appreciate the Coalition's concern. But here's the thing about humans. We're really, really good at being told we can't win." The channel closed as Zalthera watched as the human fleet split into 7 groups, each one diving toward the swarm from a different vector. The Kresh ships responded instantly, their organic hulls rippling as they redirected to meet the threats. The first contact came 30 seconds later. What Zalthera witnessed defied every tactical principle she had learned in the Void Academy. The humans didn't try to preserve their ships. They didn't pull back when shields failed or when hulls breached. They flew directly into the swarm formations, firing everything they had: mass drivers, missiles, lasers, and weapons Zalthera couldn't identify. When their ammunition ran out, they rammed. "By the first light," Krentau whispered. "They're using their ships as kinetic weapons." A human destroyer, its entire port side torn open and venting atmosphere, accelerated into a cluster of swarm fighters. The explosion created a chain reaction that consumed dozens of enemy vessels. Before the debris had cleared, 3 more human ships were diving through the gap, their weapons carving through the swarm's formation. Commander Rhett's voice echoed across open channels, calm and cold as the void itself. All vessels, this is Ret. They wanted Earth. Let's show them what it costs to touch our home. No retreat. No surrender. Make every shot count, and if you run out of shots, make your ship count. The battle became a savage, chaotic thing. The swarm had numbers, but humans had something the Coalition's tactical computers couldn't quantify. They had rage, born from a world that had forged them in fire and ice and darkness. They had the memory of extinction events survived, of predators outlasted, of a journey from caves to the stars against impossible odds. As Zalthera watched a human cruiser, the Defiant, according to her sensors, lose its main engines and life support. Instead of evacuating, the crew manually aimed the ship using maneuvering thrusters and fired every remaining weapon at a swarm hive ship 3 times its size. The nuclear detonations that followed consumed both vessels in white fire. The tactical display shifted. The swarm was adapting, pulling back, reforming. But the humans weren't giving them time. They pressed forward, accepting casualties that would have broken any Coalition fleet. 16 human vessels remaining, the ship's intelligence reported. Swarm forces reduced to 1,000 for 100 ships. Revised survival projection. Humans will be eliminated in 8 minutes. But 8 minutes had seemed impossible 4 minutes ago. Commander Rhett's ship, the Indomitable, had lost half its hull plating and was trailing debris, but it continued firing, continued advancing. Around it, the remaining human vessels formed a loose sphere, creating overlapping fields of fire that even the swarm struggled to penetrate. "They're not trying to win," Zalthera said suddenly, understanding flooding through her. "They're buying time. Every minute they survive is another minute for their population to evacuate, for reinforcements to arrive. Then they're sacrificing themselves," Krental said. "No." Zalthera's skin blazed with colors of awe and terror. "They're teaching the swarm a lesson. That Earth is not prey. That humans are not victims. That touching their homeworld carries a price measured in blood and fire." The battle raged for another 6 minutes before the Coalition's rapid response fleet emerged from hyperspace. By then, only 7 human ships remained operational, including the Indomitable, its hull so damaged it was barely recognizable. But the swarm was broken. The remaining Kresh vessels fled into hyperspace, leaving behind the wreckage of 3,000 ships. The worst defeat the swarm had ever suffered. AS Coalition medical vessels rushed toward the damaged human fleet. Zalthera's communication console chimed. Commander Red appeared, his face covered in blood and ash, but his eyes still burning with that terrible, beautiful human defiance. "Observer Zalthera," he said, his voice rough. "I hope you got all that recorded. The next time something decides to attack a member of the Coalition, I want them to know what happens when you threaten humanity's home." Zalthera's skin cycled through every color of respect her species possessed. "Commander, your species has taught the galaxy something today. The Coalition will not forget." Rhett smiled, a predator's expression that sent chills through Zalthera's consciousness. "Good, because we're just getting started." The channel closed, and Zalthera turned to her crew, her voice carrying across the observation deck. "Record everything. Every moment. Every decision. Every sacrifice." She looked back at the debris field, at the impossible victory carved from certain defeat. "The galaxy needs to understand. Humanity is not like us. They come from a world that tried to destroy them, and they refuse to die. They carry that refusal in their bones, in their blood, in their souls." She paused, her skin settling into colors of solemn acknowledgement. "And the universe will never be the same." In the wreckage-strewn space around Earth, 40 human ships had held against 4,000. They had fought without hope of survival, without tactical advantage, without anything except the raw, burning determination that their species had learned across millions of years of evolution. The aliens had watched in dread as humans entered battle. Now they watched in awe as humans taught the galaxy what it meant to be unbreakable.